So I talked about the first thing you want to do is to optimize your website and set up your website not just for SEO, but for conversion. And so building your website needs to start with the understanding that every one of the pages on your website can really only rank for between 1 and 2 keyword combinations. So you just think about your company, you think about the different services that you offer, and the different permutations of keywords somebody might type in when they're looking for what you do. You'll come to the inevitable conclusion that you probably need to have additional pages on your website. Typical home service website that we see has between 3 and 5 pages. Home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us. And that is a miss, because you want to make sure you have pages for each one of your services. So a different page for all of the different things that you do, and pages for the sub-cities that you serve. I know for a fact the majority of home service businesses serve anywhere between a 25 and 50 mile radius. And some of you might go further than that, some of you might go less than that. But in that 25 to 50 mile radius, there's a lot of little cities. There might be one main city, but there's little cities in and around that market. And your customers, when they're looking for your services, are going to Google and they're typing in those sub-cities plus your services. So you want to make sure that you have a page on your website for each one of the sub-cities that you operate in, but you need to do it strategically, and you need to have a plan for how to do that. So, when you look again at the typical home service website, it's home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us. What I'm suggesting is have a page for each one of your services. So if you were a plumber, you'd want to have an emergency plumbing page, a leak detection page, toilet repair page, water heater installation page, tankless water heater page, hydrojetting page. You get the idea. Pages for each one of your services. Now, you'd also want to have pages for each one of the sub-cities that you operate in. So not just your main city, like for instance in Miami. You wouldn't want to just have a page that says, hey, we serve Miami. You want to say that you serve in that 25 to 50 mile radius, you serve Kendall, and you serve Palmetto Bay, and you serve Aventura, and you serve Doral. And I think you get the idea. But you want to make sure that you have pages for each one of your services and each one of the sub-cities that you operate in. That way you can have indexation for all of the different things that you do. And indexation just means you're going to show up on Google somewhere because Google recognizes that you have a page for that specific service and that specific city. Now I'm going to talk more about how to build the authority and get those pages to rank on page 1 instead of page 17, but you get the idea. Make sure you build pages for each one of the services that you provide. So now that you've got the website set up correctly, you've figured out what pages you want to have on your website for each one of the different services that you offer, you need to start to think about how to optimize the website. How can you set your website and the pages on your website up so that Google ranks you? And that's what search engine optimization is. It's optimizing your website so that you can rank on Google in the organic non-paid listings for the keywords that your customers are searching for when they need your services. And so there's some specific things that you can do for the pages on your website to make sure that they rank better. The first thing is have a unique title tag on each of the pages of your website. Have an H1 tag that restates the keyword for that page. Use your keywords in the images. Use the keywords in the URL structure. And submit a sitemap to Google and Bing via their webmaster tools so that they understand what pages you have on your website. So let me dive into this in a little bit more depth and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So what's a title tag? A title tag is that bar along the top of your browser that's got some information in it. And the title tag is probably the #1 thing that Google looks at to determine what a page on the internet is all about. And so you want to make sure that you have your keywords in the title tag, on your home page, and on the service pages and the city pages that you add to your website. And so a typical website, if we just use a plumber as an example, typically the home page is leveraging just the company name. So the title tag on the homepage might just be Joe's Plumbing or Joe's Plumbing Service. And that's a miss, because when someone's looking for your services, they probably don't know who you are. And if they do, they're gonna go straight to your website. Now, what they are searching for is your service in your city or your service plus city. So you want to make sure that the homepage targets that main keyword. And so you want to put that keyword in the title tag as far to the left as possible. So if you're a plumber, you probably want to use Orlando Plumber and then your company name and then some other keyword that's important to you. And you want to do that on the homepage of your website. Now, if this was the only thing that you did as a result of this video, you went back to your homepage on your website, you looked at what that title tag said, and you changed it to read your main keyword plus your company name, you'd find a major boost in your ranking for that specific keyword. So if you did nothing else from this, take that one nugget, implement it, and it will be worth its weight in gold. Now, if you really want to do this correctly and you want to maximize the potential for your organization, you need to update the title tags in the same way on each of the pages of your website. So not just your homepage. Again, if you're the plumber and you're building out pages for each one of your services, you want the emergency plumbing page to say Orlando Emergency Plumbing, 24-hour emergency service in Orlando, Florida. If your water heater page, you want that title tag to say Orlando Water Heater Repair Services in Orlando, Florida. The drain cleaning page, Orlando Drain Cleaning Services in Orlando, Florida. So the idea is you can integrate your keywords into the title tag and then into the H1 tag on your website, and then of course write great content that's 100% unique, that talks about that specific service and the benefits of those services for your customers. If those are the only things that you do, update your title tag, update your H1 tag, have great content on the page that's not spammy but speaks specifically to that individual service, you're going to see a major boost in where you rank on the search engines. Now, SEO, search engine optimization, there's hundreds of things that you can do. I want you to spend your time focusing on the 20% of the activities that are going to drive 80% of the results for you. So if you look at the Pareto principle, 80-20, 80%, 20% of the effort drives 80% of the results. Focus on those things. Those are the 20%. The title tag, the H1 tag, and the content on the page. That will significantly improve your probability for starting to rank for each of these different keywords that you're trying to optimize for. Now, of course, that's going to put you in search for them. There's another step beyond that. That's link building, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So let's look at how this starts to play out in the real world. Let's look at some real examples and case studies. And so a company that we worked with in Miami, Florida, Southwest Plumbing Services, when they started with us, they had a you build it type website. There's a website tonight through GoDaddy, and the owner, Tom Watson, had invested his own time and his own energy to become an internet aficionado, and he bought the domain southwestplumbingservices.com, and he set up his website tonight, and he built out all of these pages, or he put the content on the pages the way he thought it should be done, and he wound up a little bit frustrated because he had this website that he spent all this time building that didn't rank for anything. He was a plumber in the Miami market, and it was just frustrating for him. He was like, man, what do I need to do in order to get this website so that it can start to rank for some of the keywords that I want it to rank for? And so we started working with him. We implemented these strategies in the way that I'm breaking them down for you. We set up pages for each one of his services. We made sure the title tag was strong with that keyword in it. The H1 tag was there. The content was unique and relevant to that specific term. And this is what happened for Tom. He says, I now have prominent placement for the keywords that are most important to me. Miami commercial plumber, Miami commercial plumbing contractor, Miami plumber in Miami, Miami tankless water heater, Miami water heater installation, Miami gas contractor, Miami gas line installation, and many others. And I want to emphasize, Miami is one of the most competitive markets in the United States. So if you're in a smaller market, or even if you're in a big market, you can feel confident that these strategies will work, and then you can start to see your company ranking for these types of keywords. So here's just some visual illustration. Here's a Google search. We type in Miami plumber, and you can see that #1 listing there in spot A is Southwest Plumbing Services. And so that's his homepage. You can see that title tag which shows up. It says Miami Plumber as opposed to Southwest Plumbing Services. Miami Plumbing there, spot A on the map. Now here's where I want you to start to see how you can diversify the number of keywords that you rank for by adding sub-pages to your website. And so this search is for Miami water heater repair, and you'll see the arrows pointing to Southwest Plumbing Services / water heater repair. Now, what I want you to see is that this specific page on his website is what's ranking. It's not his homepage. It's the page on his website that has the title tag Miami water heater repair, the H1 tag Miami water heater repair, and talks about what to do when you need water heater repair in the Miami area. And that's why you build these sub pages that target very specific keywords. Here's a search for Miami gas line repair. You can see the arrows pointing to the #2 listing. Again, this is a page with the right title tag, H1 tag, and content specifically talking about gas line repair in the Miami market. Miami boiler repair, #1 listing, and the spot A listing. Now, those were all service-specific searches. Now let's look at some city-specific searches. If you're in Miami, you know that in and around the Miami area is Kendall, Palmetto Bay, Pinecrest, Doral, Miami Beach. And of course, being a plumbing company that serves a 25 to 50 mile radius, he wanted to make sure that his website was ranking for these sub-cities as well. So Palmetto Bay Plumber, you can see the arrows pointing to the #3 listing on page 1. Strategy here the same. Palmetto Bay Plumber in the title tag, Palmetto Bay Plumber in the H1 tag. Content unique to that city, not the same as the Kendall page or the Miami page, but very unique content talking about what you need to do in the event that you need plumbing services in that Palmetto Bay area. Is this making sense? Are you starting to see how these strategies come together in a way that helps you rank for not just your main city, but for your sub-cities as well? So now we've built the website correctly, right? We've got all of the right pages with the right on-page optimization, good content. We've claimed our map listing and put a really strong strategy in place for getting reviews and for developing our citations. Now what we want to do is build further authority for our website, for our domain, so we can rank better in the organic listings. Because really, once the pages on your website are set up and they're optimized correctly, the critical missing element that's going to determine whether you're on page 1 or page 3 is the authority of your website. And authority, again, is driven by the number of links, the number of citations, and the number of reviews. So you want to put a process in place to get more authority links from other websites back to your website. Because ultimately, he who has the most quality links wins. And I say quality because in the last 6 to 9 months, Google's really changed their algorithm. The algorithm being the formula that they use to determine who's on page 1 versus page 3 versus page 6. And it used to be just about links. Google was built on the notion that he who has the most links is the most authoritative and ultimately should be ranked highest. Well, over the years, people have become very familiar with that concept. And a lot of companies just went out and got links for the sake of getting links because they knew that was going to drive their rankings. So Google changed their algorithm to say, well, if you've just got links that are completely irrelevant, have nothing to do with your company, on a website that really adds no value to the internet, then you must be spamming the system. And if you're spamming the system, we don't want you to rank well in the search engines. So you have to be real careful to make sure the links that you have back to your website are relevant links, are from websites that have something to do with your area, something to do with your industry, or something to do with your services. And so how can you get these links? How can you make sure that you've got quality links that are going to build your authority and help to make sure your company is ranking well? Well, I wanted to pull up a screen. That's just what I call your circle of low-hanging fruit. And low-hanging fruit being the links that you can get that are going to make an impact, but are also relatively easy to get. And so the first links are your online directory listings. And as part of trying to get ranked better on the Google map, you have to develop your citations, which is getting your name, address, and phone number referenced on all the major online directories. Well, as part of that process, you should be adding a link back to your website on those online directories. And so when you go to Yelp and CitySearch and Judy's Book and Best of the Web and Hot Frog and all of those online directories, you can put your name, address, phone number, description of your company, and a link back to your website. Those links, in a lot of cases, drive authority, which are going to help you rank better and have that authority. The second thing you want to do is you want to look at the associations that you're involved in. If you're a plumber, it might be PHCC and QSC. If you're a HVAC company, it might be ACCA. If you're a roofing company, maybe it's the Roofing Association. But look at the associations that you're involved in, because most of them have online websites where they list their members. And those online sites give you the ability to add your company name, address, and phone number, a solid citation, and a link that's referencing your company's website. That link, of course, builds authority. So spend some time, figure out what associations you're involved in, look at their websites, and identify what you need to do in order to get your company a link from that website. From there, you want to look at allied partners. And so allied partners might be if you're a roofing company and you happen to know a plumbing business that's a friend of yours or a colleague of yours or somebody that you refer business back and forth with, they probably have a website. You definitely have a website. And so there's no reason that you couldn't get a link from their website back to your website and vice versa. And this isn't really what I consider to be a link exchange, which is a spammy tactic, because you're allied industries and you're right there in the same exact area. And so this strategy is completely above board. Look at the places where you buy product. So maybe you're a dealer for one of the major manufacturers. Maybe you buy your supplies from a local supply house. A lot of these companies will reference their dealers. And so they have authoritative websites that reference the dealers in certain markets. You can go to those websites and get links pointed back to your website. And I really just want to give you some very specific, actionable strategies for getting these links that are going to build your authority, that are going to make your contracting website rank better for the keywords that you specifically targeted in your SEO on-page optimization process. So some other links that you can get. Social media profiles. I'm going to talk more about social media and how you can leverage social media, but for the purposes of link building, if you go out and set up a Facebook page and a Twitter account and a LinkedIn profile and a YouTube channel and all of these other potential social media sites, they all give the ability to put in your company's name, address, phone number, and of course a link back to your website. These are powerful links that will drive more authority for you as an organization. Now, the other thing you can do with links within social media is on a weekly basis, you can put up an update, right? What to do in the event of a roofing emergency, and then link that back to your website. Now, you don't just have one link, you can start to get a series of links from these social media profiles. And you can link deeper in your website. So you're not just linking to the home page. In this case, now you're linking to the emergency page, or you're starting to build the authority to the deeper pages on your website. From there, you also want to look at the local groups that you're involved in. Maybe you're a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Maybe you're active in some networking group like BNI or some other business card exchange. Most of the time, these organizations have websites that reference their members. Again, go to these websites, make sure that you've got a link to your website from their websites. And then, of course, you want to have a blog. And I'm going to talk a lot about content creation and the notion that content is king on the search engines, but you want to have a blog where you can house the content that you can create and build links back to your website via that. Is this helpful? I mean, does this really help to bring it together for you, having this circle of links that really show you, okay, these are the specific places I know that I can go out and get links back to my website? Absolutely. So let me share a ninja strategy for building links. So we talked about the low-hanging fruit, which are these, but what about the other links? There's got to be other websites online that you can get links from that are going to build your authority. And so a ninja strategy is to do competitive link acquisition. And competitive link acquisition is just the process of looking at your top competitors and getting their links that they have pointed back to your website. Now, there's nothing unethical about this. It's certainly not stealing, because you're going to have to work pretty hard to get those links. But there's a very specific way that you can do this. So how do you get links, and how can you look at what your competitors have going on? Well, there are tools that you can use, like raventools.com or SEO Book or Majestic SEO, which give you the ability to type in your competitor. So who's your competitor? Go to the search engine, run a search for your city plus your service, right? Inevitably, there's a page of guys ranked on page 1, right? And all those guys on page 1 are competitors for that specific keyword. And you can take their URL, competitor number 1, and plug it into raventools.com or plug it into Majestic SEO, and it will spit out a list of all of their links. And so your number 1 competitor is outranking you, is in that position because he's got right on page optimization, he's got good content, and he's got more authority in terms of link citations and reviews. So this report will tell you what links he has, what citations he has. And you can say, okay, he's got 295 links and citations. Which of these does he have that I don't? And find the ones that he has that you don't, and get those same or similar links pointed back to your website. So you can look at this report and see, okay, well, here he's got a link from a directory that I'm not in. He's got a link from a newspaper in my local area that I don't have. He's got a link from a chamber of commerce that I'm in, but I don't have a link from. And then you can go to those websites and do what's necessary, whether it's creating a piece of content via article or video, sending an email, doing a web submission, and getting your site linked to from that specific domain. And as you start to do that on a consistent basis, your authority is going to be significantly greater, which is what's going to make you rank so well in the search engines. So the other critical element of SEO is content creation. The fact is, on the internet, content is king. So you have to be creating relevant content on a consistent basis relative to what you do. I talked about the fact that you must have a blog on your website where you can store all of your content. And a lot of times when I get to this portion in the video, in the conversation, the contractor says, man, I don't create content. I'm not a content creator. I don't like to write. But the reality is, you are a subject matter. If you're a roofer, you know information about roofing. If you're a landscaper, you know information about landscaping. If you're a painter, you have information about painting that the average consumer simply does not have and does not know. So maybe you're dealing with a curse of knowledge where you feel everybody knows this information, but they necessarily don't. So take your knowledge, your expertise, and create content about that specific topic. And so maybe the painting contractor, you know that the best way to remove wallpaper is to, cover it with water and then use a special razor blade to remove that. That's content. And what I said probably isn't even true, but you know the right way to do it. So there's a lot of different types of content you can create. You don't have to write. Different people operate better under different modalities. Some people are very good writers, some people are great speakers, and some people are just really good on video. So try and find a modality that's most comfortable for you. Maybe it's video. Set up a video camera and just record yourself explaining that specific topic just like you would to a customer or just like you would to a family member. And now you've got a piece of content that you can syndicate to your website, to your social media profiles, to be the content authority in your market. Well, I hope you got value from that video. If you'd like to get more ideas and insights on how you can really effectively be marketing your contracting or home services business online, I'd like to encourage you to go to contractorseo.net/free. That's contractorseo.net/free. There you can download two things. A video that runs about an hour, I think it runs about an hour and a half, and it's a complete overview of your contracting or home service internet marketing plan. So really the entire strategy of how you should be marketing your home service business online, covering everything from how to set up your website, how to optimize for the major search engines, how to make sure you're ranking on the Google map, how to leverage social media to its fullest effect to get more repeat and referral business, how you can start to tap into paid online advertising strategies like pay-per-click, pay-per-lead, and online paid directories. So I'm offering that to you completely free of charge. You just need to go to contractorseo.net/free. There you'll get access to the video training as well as a 56-page manual that basically takes the most important information from that guide and really explains to you with screen captures and text how you can implement it in your home services business. So again, just go to contractorseo.net/free and you can download both of those pieces of information completely free of charge.